What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jay Rich. It's Wednesday, November the 15th. We have an 8-game slate in the NBA today, and these are my best bets presented by Pinnacle Sportsbook, your trusted sportsbook for the past 25 years. We're going to be doing things a little bit differently this time around. We're going to talk NBA prop bets, and so I have 4, maybe 6 prop bets depending on time that I will go into. So let's dive into it. Waste no more time because there is tons of value on the board right now, and I'm even going to show you a tool that I use to do some research for some of these prop bets. So this is the hashtag basketball defense versus position data that you can look at, and it is completely free to use, and that's why, in my opinion, it's one of the best tools. It will tell you where the good matchups are versus the bad matchups and how much better or worse they are across the league, breaking it down by team and position. If you just look at a team's stats and what they allow game in and game out, you don't really know where those points are coming from. Hashtag basketball has taken all that data and broken it down for you. So I will be referencing this data a lot, and you should be adding it to your prop betting arsenal because it is a phenomenal tool. Now that we've gone through how I find some of this data, let's get into the prop bets. Now, as I mentioned, it is an 8-game slate today, and Pinnacle has been taking these lines up and they've been pulling them down. So we'll see how much we can get on the board, but there is a few plays that I do really like that are on the board right now that I wanted to highlight for you. One of them, or two of them actually, start in this Knicks-Atlanta game. So let's dive into this game a little bit. Go look at some of the prop bets that are available. And for me, it starts off with none other than RJ Barrett. His points line at 20.5 has already been moving towards the over. It opened at, some places plus 100, minus 105. You see here on Pinnacle Sportsbook, our trusted sportsbook, minus 109. Here is some data on RJ Barrett. Atlanta is on the second end of a back-to-back. So if you're already liking the Knicks, more of a reason to like them. The Knicks, who haven't played since Monday, so they will be a little bit more rested. RJ is coming into this game hitting the over 20.5 in his last 3 contests. He scored 26 against the Hawks in their first matchup this season, and Atlanta allows the second most points to opposing shooting guards in the NBA. Now, I know you're thinking, well, RJ plays more of the 3. On offense, he does operate a bit more as a 2, especially as the second scorer on the team on the perimeter. So I really like this matchup. I think the Knicks can take advantage of a weak backcourt that Atlanta has and all the points they're allowing to opposing shooting guards. RJ is going to be the guy to take advantage of this matchup, and I love this spot. It's a phenomenal line. He's been hitting it a lot, especially lately. He's been shooting the ball very, very well, and as I mentioned, already done it once against this Atlanta team, so I really like him to do it again today. The other player I really, really like is Julius Randle to go over 4.5 assists. Now, the biggest thing with Randle is how much is he going to facilitate in this game, because sometimes he's a rebounder, some games he's a scorer, sometimes he does everything. The Hawks are allowing the most assists in the NBA to opposing power forwards. So what does that mean? It means they allow 34% more above average compared to teams around the league from power forwards. So Randle, a player who already is a great facilitator, who's gone over 4.5 assists in 4 of his last 5 games. In his game against the Hawks earlier this season, he had his most assists of the year with 9. It's another phenomenal spot for Randle. The line's only minus 107. I think it will trend more towards an over. He's been getting tons of assists recently. The Hawks are a phenomenal matchup, and I love this, especially when you're talking about taking RJ's over points, Randle's over assists. Some nice correlation there. So I love what we're doing here with the prop bets. Both are great bets. Both have tons of great data to support them. And I really like these plays. The Randle one, it is one of my favorites. And RJ, of course, has been scoring at a phenomenal clip. Both of these plays are great, and I would be locking them in on your slips. Let's see what we have on the board right now. We got more games. Look at that, 7 games on the board. We just had to be patient. Just had to wait a little bit. But let's get into another play because there's 2 more that I really like, but we will have to eat the juice a little bit. So I wanted to talk about Kyrie Irving and the Dallas Mavericks, but we will have to wait on that one because it looks like of all the games that was up, that is not one of them. So let's see what we have in this Lakers game, because the player I was looking at, is it up? Yes, it is. Domantas Sabonis, 6.5 assists, minus 154 to the over. I know what you're thinking. Jordan, why are you telling me to eat the juice on minus 154? Well, let's dive into it a little bit. Sabonis, of course, phenomenal facilitator. Probably top 5 in terms of centers in the NBA. Jokic obviously is number one, but Sabonis is right there in terms of what he does as a facilitator. De'Aaron Fox is back, and that only makes his job getting assists even easier because Sabonis creates opportunities for Fox to score, and we can count on Fox to convert on those opportunities. Now, Sabonis is playing a Lakers team that is also on the second leg of a back-to-back. They haven't played since Monday when they played against the Cavs, so they will be a little bit more rested in this contest, and so I like that already. When you're talking about Sabonis to go over 6.5 assists, he's hit 9 or more assists in each of his last 3 games, and the Lakers are a top 5 matchup for assists to opposing centers. So you have a top 5 matchup, a player who's had 9 assists in each of his last 3 games, and they also brought their superstar point guard, De'Aaron Fox, back in the lineup where Sabonis had a great performance on Monday against the Cavs in a top 5 matchup. Yes, you do have to eat a lot of juice at this minus 154 number, but it is a great matchup, and I just love having a team on a back-to-back for a team that is rested. Sabonis should absolutely feast against this Lakers lineup. You know, you could take the rebounds, you could take the points if you want to. I think the assist is probably the best value, and he should be projected for right around 8.5 assists in this game, and even that might be a little low. He could definitely be on triple-double watch tonight, and if you really want to go that route, I'm not going to stop you. What's his double-double, actually? Let's just pull that open. Minus 401. Now, that's predicated mostly because of the rebounds. I mean, you look at his rebound line. Let's see, what is his rebound line? It's got to be, 12.5 rebounds. I mean, my goodness, he really is on triple-double watch this game, but the assist is a really good line, heavily juiced, but in my opinion, definitely worth it. Now, let's see if I do get that line that I was looking for in the Dallas Mavericks game. It doesn't look like it's out just yet, so I will just talk about it very quickly. Kyrie Irving over 5.5 assists is the line you want to be looking for. It was minus 150, maybe minus 160, depending on when it ultimately comes up. They are on the second half of a back-to-back, so be a little bit cautious when you're looking at a line like that because he potentially could rest in this game, so we'll have to see what happens with him. It would also be their 3rd game in 4 nights. Now, they did play 2 games against the Pelicans, so not too bad in terms of travel, but when you talk about Kyrie Irving, he's hit this line in 7 of 9 games this season. Now, they did get blown out yesterday, and so the good thing is he only played 25 minutes, and he still went over that mark in the other game against the Pelicans. I believe he still went over. He had 7 in one game, 6 in the other. So he's hitting this 5.5 number very, very consistently. And today they play against the Washington Wizards, who are abysmal. One of the worst teams in the NBA, and they allow the most assists to shooting guards on a per game basis. In terms of how they are above average, they allow 37% more assists to opposing shooting guards than the average NBA team. We know the Wizards are bad. We know they're going to chuck it up. We know they're probably going to get blown out by the Mavericks. And I think Kyrie Irving would be a big part of that. The big thing with Kyrie, especially so far this year, he's been getting the assists, but the points have been spotty at times when Luka's really gone off. That's why I really trust his assist number. I think it's a great spot for Kyrie. Best matchup in the NBA, probably will play at least 30 minutes. I believe I have him projected for right around 32. So look for that line when it ultimately comes out because it is a really great spot. And I think even though you have to pay up for it a little bit, I think the juice is definitely worth it. Obviously, I love the picks I've found for the Knicks today, but I think we've already found some tremendous value on the board. So let's dive into a quick recap of the plays for today. We're taking RJ Barrett over 20.5 points against the Atlanta Hawks. We're also taking Julius Randle over 4.5 assists against the Atlanta Hawks on a back-to-back. We want the over for Kyrie Irving at 5.5 assists. Phenomenal value. 7 of his last 9 games, including hitting them in his last 2. Really like the value for Kyrie Irving. And Domantas Sabonis over 6.5 assists. Heavy juice on Kyrie and on Sabonis, but I really think both these plays are going to hit. But that's it for me. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know what you guys think of the prop bets and whether you prefer the sides and totals or the prop bets or maybe a combination of the two. As always, I am your host, Jordan Richards. Thank you so much for tuning in for my best bets here on Pinnacle Sportsbook. And as always, bet smart and bet Pinnacle. You can follow me on Twitter or X at your boy J Rich, and I will see you guys next week. Good luck tonight, and I'm out. Peace.